Hi friends, it is Mary from Mom Behind the Computer. Today is the day that my little girl is off at school and I am out running some errands. Actually, I just got all my errands done. So I thought I'd take a couple of moments while things are actually quiet and record at least one, maybe two videos for you guys. So I wanted to take a minute and do a quick vlog about, well, I don't know how quick it's going to be. Sometimes I can get wordy. But do a vlog about what we are doing sort of to prepare life right now. So I am currently 32 weeks pregnant and boy, am I feeling it. I am, I'm not sure if this is because I'm older. I'm about 5 years older than I was when I was pregnant the first time, or because I have a little girl and this little guy, this little baby is a boy, but I am definitely feeling a little rougher during this entire pregnancy. The morning sickness time was much more rough, and the aches and the pains and things like that have also been rougher, I guess. I don't know. It feels like he's a lot lower, which is causing kind of extra aches and pains. And it could be just that you forget a little bit of it as you make it through and things like that. So I am definitely feeling it. And while I had already prepared for, he's due towards the end of April, while I was already prepared to make March a finalized prep time, I'm definitely pushing for that because even though I had sort of planned for April to be a wind down and just sort of focus on the family and getting things, wrapped up, there are several things that are making that feel a little more urgent. So that includes, obviously, that I'm feeling a little worse. I've been so tired this week. And also the fact that the coronavirus is becoming a potential issue. So my husband works in the medical field, and one of his specialties is, I'm trying to think of the right wording, analyzing and helping people deal with infection prevention, that sort of thing, which includes, sort of these public health issues, I guess. So while typically as a family, I think if it was just me and hubby and little girl, we would definitely be extra cautious as this sort of situation is looming, I guess. Right now it's not near our state or anything like that. And so normally I think we would just treat it as a really bad flu season, which we're always extra cautious about because we have several family members who are immunocompromised. And if we get any sort of cold, we are not able to help support them or be around them for typically weeks. And then also, colds and things like that are always a little rougher on hubby than they are on the average person because of some of his medical things. So we're always a little extra cautious. And I always tell people, I know that we seem a little overprotective at times, but I try to remind people that you're not just seeing, if you just see me and little girl out, we are thankfully fairly healthy, and we thankfully have normal immune systems and can get over colds, I think, on a normal basis. I mean, it's not extended or anything with us. However, there are people who see us on a regular basis who don't know about the family members we have that are immunocompromised, that we try to be there to support and things like that. And I try to remind people that, you don't know who else people are dealing with. I get so frustrated at parents who are completely unwilling to keep their kids at home when they're clearly sick. There's a different, I've taken little girl out before. I've known she's sick before, she gets sick later in the day. You can't help that sort of thing. But when your kid is clearly sick, when they have those little sick eyes, I'm like, you all, just keep your kid at home, or keep them out of those public situations at least, because you don't know what other people are dealing with. And if I just always ask that people be respectful of our family, and if you're going to have a play date or something with us, let us know so that we can make the decision based on who we're going to be around and their situations and things like that, as to whether we put our kids at risk for that. And most of our friends and most of our family are kind enough to do that. But some, it doesn't cross their mind. And I don't think that they're trying to be unkind. It's just something that I try to communicate with people. Anyways, so typically we are a little probably on the upper side of cautious anyways. But with the potential of sort of a widespread coronavirus situation, we are, while we would normally be on the slightly overcautious side, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant, very close to being time to deliver, and very soon, God willing, we'll have a little boy with us as well, a little newborn. And I know that there's some differing reports about if children are less vulnerable or more vulnerable or anything like that, but I think it's clear that a newborn is not someone we want to have deal with a respiratory virus at this stage. So we are trying to prepare for the worst case scenario and hope for the best. So hopefully this won't be an issue. But we are aware that it's going to be some sort of issue. Hopefully it'll be a small issue that we won't have to deal with very much, but it is going to be something, and it is going to be something we have to consider. I was so excited that this baby was not born in flu season. He was going to be due, or is not expected to be, let me put it that way. It's still sort of flu season around here, but God willing, he'll be good in there for a little while longer. And April is not typically a big flu season month, and I was very excited about that as we were going into the summer and things like that. I thought that it would really loosen things up for us a bit. But clearly that is just not going to be the situation right now. So we are preparing for that. I'm preparing for a combination of babies coming. I know I'm not going to feel like doing anything for a few months. And this potential coronavirus that may cause issues with getting supplies and food and things like that. So we spent the last week doing something we should have done a long time ago, actually. I'm trying to be very reasonable about everything, and we have prepared, we probably have enough shelf-stable and frozen foods and things like that that we could make. I'm estimating at least 6 weeks, maybe longer, to be fair. That was kind of my goal, was about 6 weeks. And not that I'm expecting that we're not going to be able to go out at all, but I am expecting that, one, if something is going around, I'm not going to want to be in a grocery store or a pharmacy if we can help it. Two, I'm going to have a newborn baby. And quite frankly, I was already dreading thinking about grocery trips. We do grocery pickup, which helps a lot, but it's still a matter of unloading groceries and dealing with groceries and things like that. So, I'm probably not going to be feeling up to doing a lot of that. Having those shelf-stable things at home give me a little extra assurance that if we need to skip a week because we're having a rough week with the baby or something like that, we can do so. If we do get quarantined as a society, which I don't expect to happen, I don't expect that at all to happen. Pretty snowflake just fell on my car. That is so, I've never seen one like that. It looks like a star. It's beautiful. So I don't expect that to happen, but if it were to happen, I'm sure I've made sure that we have some supplies so that we could go a few weeks if we needed to. And also just so that we have variety in our foods and things like that. It's something that I should have done a long time ago. I just never kind of had the gumption to push myself to get organized in that way. So I'm feeling good in that area. We've got a few more things we need to store away. But overall, we're good. And I have some plans for some recipes and things like that to use up everything. I actually ended up making a spreadsheet because I knew that if I stored things away, especially because of some of the places we're needing to store things, that they would go bad and I would forget about them. So I actually made a spreadsheet so that I could keep track of some of the expiration dates as they, some of them are years out. So I want to make sure that I'm kind of rotating them. And I plan to use them for the most part, especially once little guy's here. I plan to kind of use them and then just kind of plan to rotate them so that we still have a stock, as long as it can be stored reasonably in our house and be shelf stable. I think it's a good idea. So I'm looking forward to kind of cooking a little more from scratch, which is something that has been a long-term goal of mine. Again, sometimes you just need a push to do these things. I'm glad that we are going to be stocked on some items and hopefully creating a system where they can be rotated out and we continually have stock. I mean, there are a lot of great reasons to have that. I remember a time, this was years ago, where electricity was out, thankfully not in our house, but actually on the opposite side of the street of ours for 2 weeks. And yeah, that definitely had a challenge. It was out in a lot of the town, not just the opposite side of the street. I'm just saying that's how close it was to us. So that is a great reason to have shelf-stable, non-refrigerated foods ready. And we also had a time when, I don't remember how old little girl was, but we were without water for like 3 days. We had water. We were without clean water for like 3 days after a water main break or fix or something like that. And while that's something we can easily adjust and deal with, we did. It's also something that, especially with a newborn, because we're probably going to formula feed, because that's what worked best with little girl, and you kind of got to go in with certain expectations. If it works out other ways, we're holding with an open hand, but that is the current expectation, is that we're probably going to formula feed. That makes clean water very important. So I'm feeling good that we're stocked up. That obviously took a week of preparing for baby in a direction I was not expecting, but I'm glad that it's done, and I feel thankful that God has kind of guided us through that. That's something I've been really praying about through this process, is that I don't go crazy overboard with, I don't want to do this out of a worry standpoint. I want to do this out of preparedness standpoint. I don't want to do this out of a freaking out standpoint. I want to do this out of this is a reasonable way that we can do this and actually be a good steward of our resources and our money and things like that. We'll see how it goes. This is sort of our first time doing it, so we'll see how it goes. Other things that I've been doing to prepare. I have several areas of my life that need to be handed over to someone else for at least 6 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. I'm preparing to be out of a lot of my volunteer positions until the end of June. I may come back before then, but I want to give the person who is agreeing to fill in for me realistic expectations and give myself and my family realistic expectations too. Adjusting to a new baby is super hard, and I didn't have a lot of volunteer responsibilities and things like that with little girl. I just had kind of my job for the most part. I had my virtual assistant job and my daytime job, so I had to get those ready. But otherwise, I've given over one of my volunteer jobs. I trained someone in that, and they have taken that over, and they are doing a great job, and I'm so thankful for them. My Sunday school, actually I'm a children's ministry director overall. I call it Sunday school. It's really school, like a class during church is what I teach. We have other volunteers that teach other things. And obviously as a children's ministry director, I run, it's sort of like a VBS is what we do in the summer. So that is going to be pretty much when I'm getting back into the swing of things. So I'm trying to prepare everything I can before then. I'd say I'm about halfway done with that. Sort of getting all of that prepared in a good spot. Thankfully, we have some people who are willing to sort of step up and take in some of those roles. Some of the people that were doing it before I was doing it, some of the people who are just willing to help, and I'm so grateful for them. And I'm trying to think of what else I have going on. Obviously, I have my virtual assistant job, which is in a good spot. Still training some people, but I feel good about it. Everybody's sort of in place and kind of knows what they're going to be doing, for me to be away from there for a while. And we're also trying to prepare the house. So that one is, I guess, a little more in depth. It requires my husband's help, which is good, but we've had some outstanding, like outside of our immediate family, needs and things like that have been going on, and that has had to be priority because that is here and now. That is not, when babies do. So hopefully we'll have the nursery painted soon. They're about halfway through, so we're excited to have that done, and then we can kind of, once all the big stuff's in place, then I can kind of do what I need to do on the outside. We do, and then see what we need to do to fill in any gaps that we need. I'm not expecting that we're going to need a whole lot. And normally I go with the theory of we can get whatever we need, but I'm trying to make sure that we have the minimums of what we need. And then I get to just work on like packing the baby bag and sanitizing the bottles and the passies and washing all the clothes and making sure they're all organized and things like that, and not knowing what size he's going to be, so we don't even know what size to be prepared with. So thankfully I've been able to sort of brain dump and do big lists, and I'm just sort of working through those lists and praying I didn't forget anything major. But that is what we are doing to prepare right now. So this whole month just feels like major preparedness time in our life. So we're preparing for our family as much as we can, God willing, preparing for the baby to come, preparing for me to take time off to focus even more so on my family and things like that. And I'm even preparing little girl's school. So we are going to stop. She's in pre-K, so I'm not super worried about homeschooling pre-K. She goes to some classes. I do sit down with her and we work on things, but that's more for just our routine, not for that. So we're going to be stopping doing that at the end of March to give ourselves some time and things like that. But I do already have book lists made so that I can reserve books from the library for our read aloud times, which we do at night anyways. Want to make sure we have that prepared. And I've already gotten most of the curriculum that I want to use starting in, I don't know if we'll start in August or September for kindergarten. And I'm hoping to have a couple of months already planned out so that I don't have to use that brain power. The brain power is the part that I'm most concerned about, because I know I'm going to be very tired. You just can't prepare for babies like that. And, they're going to do what they want to do. So my brain power, like my analytical, this is what we need to do, this is a reasonable thing, is one of the first to go. Like I can handle the here and the now. It's the planning ahead sort of things that I want to make sure I'm taking all of the friction out that I can. So that is what we are doing to prepare. And that is where we're at. So if you'd like to know more about any of those specific areas that I'm preparing in, and sort of where what direction I'm taking with those, I'd be more than happy to share. I know that I've learned a lot from listening and watching and reading other people's experiences. So that's a lot going on, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm also hoping to get some videos up for you guys, and not up, recorded, edited, ready to go for you guys, so that can cover my leave as well. I have a lot of things that I've wanted to elaborate on and follow up on, and create little videos for, and it's just a matter of having time where it's quiet to record them and having time to edit them and get them ready. So I'm hoping that'll happen. Obviously that's not at the top of the priority list, but it is up there. It is on the list. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you all so much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos about life as a work-at-home mom, I would love to share them with you. Please let me know what videos you'd like in the comments below, and please hit subscribe. I'll have more videos like this in the future, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.